say?
Early morning, time to rise, no sleep. Radio's humming with the funky beat. Sun is shining, Rachel brings the heat. Wake up, CEO, we're on repeat. Chicago, Sun Up City on the go. Rachel L. Gary on the radio. Tune in quick, hear the power flow. Wake up, CEO, it's your daily show. Wake up, start the day with Zio. Rachel's got the vibe, that's the real deal. CEO, it's time to feel the thrill. Morning grind, press play and chill. From the Windy City, bringing major vibes. Rachel on the mic, keeping lives revived. Radio Chicago, where dreams arise. Wake up, CEO, to the skies. No more snooze button, no more delay. Rachel's voice making waves today. Feel the energy Chicago way. Wake up, CEO, rise and sway. Wake up, start the day with Zio. Rachel's got the vibe, that's the real deal. CEO, it's time to feel the thrill. Morning grind, press play and chill. Wake up, start the day with Zio. Hey, with Rachel's got the vibe, that's the real deal. CEO, it's time to feel the thrill. Morning grind, press play and chill.
This is Dr. Carolyn Stevens, the CEO of the BHC Media Group. And when you are looking for a strategy for self-leadership, get aligned with Wake Up CEO with host Rachel L. Gary every Wednesday from 3 to 5 p.m.
You know what time it is? Every Wednesday, 3 to 5, my Radio Chicago, Rachel L. Gary in the building. Wake up, CEO, let's go! Wake up, go some set that tone. Wake up, every step you take, you claim that throne. Wake up, no more doubt, no time to stall. Wake up, boss up now, go get it on. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in. Wake up, I ain't waiting, now I go and take it. Built this from the ground, no way they break it. Consistency, my secret, watch me make it. Got that boss talk, nah I ain't faking no. Lost, set the goal, now I'm grabbing the goal. And put in the work, now I'm taking control. The vision so clear, yeah I already know. Every step I take, I'm ready to blow. Wake up, set that tone. Every step you take, you claim that throne. No more doubt, no time to stall. You boss up now, go get it all. Let's go, stay locked in, make it happen. Make it happen. Let's go, stay locked in, make it happen. Make it happen. No handouts, yeah I made my way. Built my brand, now I paid my lane out. Turn my losses into lessons. Now my grind got no recession. Yeah, they talk about chance, but I make my own. Yeah, I ain't waiting for fate, got a future to own. Yeah, every setback, just part of the game, gay game. But now I'm up and they know my name. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in. Wake up. Success so sexy, put the work in flexi. Late nights, no rest, but now my vision's hefty. They doubted, they laughed, now they watch from the back. Cause I turned every dream into bricks that stack. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in, go get it all. Every Wednesday, 3 to 5, my Radio Chicago. Rachel L. Gary taking you to the top. Boss up.
Hey there, hey there, hey there, CEOs. Welcome to Wake Up CEO. I am Rachel L. Gary, and this is your 2-hour Power Pack Wake Up Call to step into your full potential. Y'all know my mission is simple. It's to speak candid truth to empower your inner CEO. It's that one that is clear in your actions, empowered by your choices, and owning your direction. Ready to be the CEO of your life. Guys, today we're gonna be breaking it down. So I thank everyone who's joining me live, either on the air, on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and soon in a couple of moments to be TikTok. Guys, you got to get locked in. So the message of the day is about how to build a winning team when you're always had to do it by yourself. So when you always had to do it alone, this show is about how to build a winning team. Then I have a special featured guest today, Delores Porter. She's a retired USA Army veteran and author. We're holding people accountable all the way up. Featured in her award book, Equal Justice Under Law for African Americans, a Title VII case of discrimination. Guys, y'all need to get locked in. And we got that leadership 3-point play that is powered by Say I'm Possible Academy, where self-leadership gets what? GPS. And y'all know what we do on Wake Up CEO. We waste no time. We just get locked in. And the power statement of the day is, I don't have to carry it all to prove I'm strong. I build teams that help me win. Oh, yeah, that's what it's about, CEOs, because how to build a winning team means that first we got to get clear. So let's jump into getting clear. And for as you guys join the live, the question of the day is, who has your back? I want y'all to drop that answer in the chat as you guys jump in. Who has your back? Because that's what we need to dive into when we're talking about growing and developing your business and being the best version of you in this life. So to get clear, we have to know what you need before you recruit who you like. One more time. You have to be clear on what you need so you can recruit the people that you like. You can't create a job post, a job description until you really understand what it is you need. So to get clear on what is a winning team, let's look into your mission. So you got to get clear on what is the mission. What are you building? Oh, yeah. Because if you're trying to build something, you have to be clear on what it is. What's the end goal? So you can enlist help. You can't look for someone to be part of your team if you have no idea what you are building and they are helping you grow into. That's what we're trying to get to, CEOs. We got to get locked into that. Because once you have a clear mission, once your mission is crystal clear, then we can start recruiting. Recruitment starts the second that we're clear on what the mission is. So let me give you an example. If the mission is visibility plus income, your team must support outreach, content, and conversion. Now, I'm going to give you where I'm getting my examples from. These are examples from my team that I'm working with for Freedom Has GPS. The third installment of the Epic Collection. That's my upcoming book, y'all, who's out there watching. So we got Michael checking in. Hey, Michael, he says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, CEO. I appreciate you for joining me today. We got to get locked in right here. And what we're talking about today is how to build a winning team when you've always had to do it alone. And the question of the day, Michael, because I love when you come get your answers. Who has your back? Because we got to get locked into who's got you. Who's going to help you up when you're falling down? Who's going to run the business like they're part of the team that can handle their business? And you have to clarify the roles. We got to stop hiring clones of me. I don't want somebody who can do the same things I do. I want people on my team who have their own voice and have their own understanding about how to build and help me grow the business. We make a mistake when we have our businesses and we're looking for people to things exactly the way we would. And that all that does is stifle creativity. I don't want any drones or robots on the team. I want people to have their own voice, their own mind, but being able to deliver results. Those are two different things, guys. Delivering results doesn't mean they have to work like you. It means they have to work like them, but deliver the results that the business needs for growth. You know, when I pause on Wake Up CEO, what that means. I want y'all to take that in. Think about that. Think about that. Put that in your mind, your thoughts. If you have a mission to do anything, that's either with your business or something that you're just trying to curate in your everyday life. How do you curate something if you don't know what that looks like? It goes to like when we were talking about reaching our goals. We talk about we're reaching our goals, but to reach our goals, we're trying to do it all by ourselves. We're not looking for the outside help. We don't even want the outside help, but we want results. And to get results, you got to be ready to get assistance when assistance is needed. And it's okay that you need assistance because assistance allows your mission to move quicker. That's what assistance does. But you got to get clear. You got to get clear on what is the mission. Mission possible. What's the mission? So once you get clear, because remember what we're talking about today is how to build a winning team when you've always done it alone. How do you build that winning team? And how you build that winning team is by being clear about what a win looks like. What is the mission? And once you get the mission, you have to clarify each role, what it is you need each individual to be doing for the business. No robotics. They ain't what we're looking for, no robots. You go with the flow. So we got Miss Mina the Brown Diva who just checked in with us. And she says, you got to go with the flow. Hey, I'm going to be honest. I'm a firm believer we're going with the flow. I believe in structure to a certain extent. And I believe that some things need to happen organically. And when organic things take place, it allows you to have more success. Organic conversations allow you to feel more successful about them. And Greg Gray, who checked in, guys, if you don't know who Greg Gray is, that is one of my mentors. He is also the host of Dope Living TV. Guys, he's done so much more, but I will spend the rest of the show just talking about Greg Gray. So guys, get locked in with him. Check out his page, Gregory Gray, and check out the show every day from 7 o'clock. So, Monday through Thursday from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. You can catch him and the co-host on Dope Living TV. And on Thursday, that's a special Dope Living TV where I join the cast as the leadership coach, and Greg grills me with questions, guys. He grills me with questions that we be going over and we be talking it out and giving clarity in situations. You guys get locked in, stay locked in with Greg Gray. And then we have Amina says, find people who are capable and hungry as you are. I like that. I like that. Because we definitely want people who are hungry, who want to make it happen. But do I want people that are robots that will do what I do? No. You want people who have autonomy in their minds, who understand the mission. First off, you have to make sure you clarify your mission. What is the mission? What are we planning to do? What is the outcome that we're looking for? And then we start talking about recruiting. Then we have to clarify your non-negotiables, your values, and the communication. Let me give you a quick example. How do we handle conflict? How do we handle deadlines? What does done mean? Now, my team members, they're used to me talking this way because I be wanting to know, hey, what are we done? And so I thank you guys for joining me. We got Crystal in the chat. We got Ama in the chat. We got DeAndre in the chat. Thank you for joining. We got Love Cat like Kyle. We got Fright Mike. Thank you guys for joining me out there. And Greg says, know what everyone brings to the table and strategically make each piece fit. Now, I'm going to disagree a little bit with Greg here, guys. I promise. I believe what Greg is saying, but I'm going to give my version of the same thing. So I don't believe that you bring people on your team that do not match the description of what you need. Because what usually happens when you do that is that you build a level of frustration. When you force people to fit your narrative, as opposed to bringing people on that understand your narrative, you have more friction. So that's my mindset. Do you want the people that are on the team strategically move them around? Yes, because some people have value in certain ways and some people have value in others. So even though you might have hired someone, we'll just say to be a graphic designer, and you find out they have coaching abilities, then you're like, okay, I need a coach for this area. And you notice that they are that person, then you pull them into that arena. Those are different. But if you're hiring a graphic designer, you want to make sure that graphic designer is able to do graphics, who can reach deadlines, and who has a clear understanding of the mission. But once again, that goes to you being clear. When you're clear, you can say that. But if you're not clear, you cannot ask for a finished product if you don't know what a finished product looks like. So this is about getting locked into having a clear understanding of who you are. So it goes this way. If you don't define help, people will guess. I don't want people guessing on my team. I want them to be clear on what Rachel L. Gary is looking for when you're joining my team. And that's not saying I want everybody to be free thinkers. But I want to make sure that the free thoughts go. I'm going to use, for instance, my event that's coming up in December. I know why we're talking about December and February, because when you are a CEO, you plan accordingly. And when you plan accordingly, you set things in place. When you set things in place, I'm going to hit you. When you set things in place, then you get results. But if you don't have clear what it is you want, you don't have steps that you want to put in place to reach that goal, then you're still in the same place thinking about it. So we got I am Cardia. He says, just got the number 2. Check it in. So at the end of the day, I say this at the end of the day, guys, what you have to do is stay focused on growth and development, stay focused on doing the things that are necessary for you to get clear. Because how to build a winning team means that you have to be clear on what a winning team looks like. So if you define what help looks like to you, then that person is aware of what it should feel like. Then we got Mike, who checked in with us. He says, honestly, my sister, Dr. Rena Lyons, is the main person that has my back. Is brutally honest with me when I need to hear the truth and stays on me like white on rice because we are like-minded. I like that. Miss Mina, she says, let's build, elevate, and create ionic moments. Go to 773-886-7756, MissMinaMedia@gmail.com to book your consultation here. If you guys are not already locked into Miss Mina, let me give you guys a little insight. So Miss Mina is the campaign director for Freedom Has GPS. What she does is she helps businesses rebrand, rebuild, and get them out here into the world. So get locked in with Miss Mina if you're looking to build your brand in a successful way and have a team that supports. She is that person with an awesome team behind her. So get locked into her. That's the information. If you're looking at this on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, go ahead and get that information. Stay locked in. And Greg says, you are correct. That is what I meant. You can't just pick anyone to share with. There is definitely a vetting process. 1,000%. 1,000%. I'm a firm believer that if you don't vet your team out, you accept anything and you try to mold them into the people that you need them to be within your organization, as opposed to you hire the person who's experienced or someone who is moving forward in getting that experience of growth. One more time, I want to say that again. They could be experienced, or you can be the person who's going to help them get experienced, which means that you're at a point where you're ready to start training and developing, helping people. That's okay. Sometimes you have interns, or as one of my teams, she calls her team visionaries. And when you have visionaries, you want to allow them to help you grow your business and help them grow at the same time. That is about a reciprocity in a relationship. So I love when we have reciprocity going on. So I want you guys to stay locked in because we got up next We got my guest of the hour, Delores Porter. She'll be joining us. And guys, you guys will get ready. I want you to be locked in and be ready for these gems about how to get more aligned with you having an understanding about your rights. And she's going to talk about her Title VII case and her new book that we're going to be discussing. So get locked in right here on My Radio Chicago, Support District Radio, where we already know it is more than radio. We are all looking to get to the cash. So I have the perfect book series for you by award-winning author Rachel L. Gary. Volume 1, Forged in Fire, Readers Rose from Life's Ashes. In Volume 2, Hashtag Poverty Six Figures, They Broke Those Mental Chains. Now comes Volume 3, Freedom Has GPS, reminding you that you are born to soar and build a legacy. Pre-orders are open for 50% off. Get the tools for the bag at www.sayiampossible.com.
Questions were exact and to the point of what I needed, but immediately I was able to apply some extra income come immediately this past week.
Charging $150 for these classes. So I had 30 people show up each day. I charge $150 and we're like 4 days.
I've gotten like three more clients since I revamped again. And I'm really grateful for that.
I actually hit my goal. I think I was at 158. And so this week I'm now at 170 RSVPs for my lunch party.
I have been uploading consistently, sharing it, and also promoting and marketing on. I did build up my own team as well. The business I also did crack in another client.
All right. And welcome back to Wake Up CEO. I am your host, Rachel L. Gary. And guys, today I have an extra special guest. So let me we're going to dive into it because y'all know I don't just sit here and we build up the hype. We're going to dive into it. So CEOs, today I am joined by a powerful woman who understands teamwork, discipline, and accountability at the highest level. Delores Porter is a retired U.S. Army veteran, and she's also the author of Equal Justice Under Law for African Americans. Her story is a real example of what it looks like to stand on truth and hold systems accountable. Without further ado, I bring to Wake Up CEO my guest, Delores Porter. Come on, Delores. Talk to us. How we doing out there?
Hey, Rachel. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Without any problems. How are you doing today?
I am great.
Awesome. So are you ready for them and to drop these gems on them so they can get an understanding?
Absolutely.
All right. There it is. So we go first. Tell them a little bit about Delores before I gave a little overview, but let's let them dive in a little bit about you. So tell them a little bit more about you.
I'm from South Side of Chicago. I have 31 years in the U.S. Army, retired. And I spent 3 years in the federal courts fighting for equal justice under law.
So she said she spent. Okay. So do we want to dive a little bit into that?
Yeah. Okay. I retired from the military and went for my veterans preference in hiring. And there's found so much systemic racism in the system. For one, when I went for equal opportunity in hiring, I found out for veterans preference jobs, the government had labeled what jobs are veterans preference. No, all jobs you qualify for are veterans preference jobs. And you check the system, you'll find out that every job that includes a mop or broom is veterans preference. And we are the most technically and tactically proficient in America. Yet a lot of benefits that we are supposed to receive, we do not get. And I understand now why veterans are among the highest of the homeless population. Veterans are the most discriminated citizens in America, and that's coming from a Black woman. There's no way possible you can defeat a system without learning law. And I feel like what's happening today, the justice system is telling we the people what law is. No, law is not what you say it is. And you have to be particular in watching the laws being enacted by the courts. For example, I'm in a civil rights case, and the law enacted that defeated my case was Advocacy versus Illinois Department of Finance and Professional Regulations. This law states in all Title VII cases now, granting summary judgment when the brunt of the evidence of the supervisor describes performance as lackluster at best and unacceptable at worst. Does that sound like equal rights? That law would defeat every Title VII case. This law, which was enacted by the appellate court in Chicago, the U.S. 7th Circuit Court of Appeals, at February 17th, 2021. Yet, I had filed my case 2 years earlier. My Title VII case was filed in the court May 6, 2019. So I had been in this case over 2 years, and you can't, just because you have lawmaking authority, make up a law that will repeal every Title VII case and backdate it 2 years. It made absolutely no sense to me. But law becomes whatever they say it is. Okay, so then you have to appeal to the next level of justice. And it becomes asinine, but any delay of justice in our justice system is systemic racism. And it continues on. Then the appellate court, you have 3 federal judges. Okay, and they have to oversee the case of the district court judge. And what a lot of people don't understand, we have to learn more about law, because a lot of things I didn't know until the 3 judges decided that, no, I didn't win my case. First of all, let's use common sense. Everybody in America knows that disabled veteran benefits granted by President Barack Obama are not voidable. Is this the real argument that Supreme Court needs to hear? It's absolutely ridiculous. And then when I get to Supreme Court, of course, I'm not going to get in. 3 strikes, you're out. Okay? Because it is obvious when I get in Supreme Court, I will win. Okay? Because in appellate court, it requires 2 documents in appellate court, an appellate brief and a response brief. I filed an appellate brief in accordance with federal rules of appellate procedure. I have celebrated my 7-year injustice anniversary, and I'm yet to see a legal response brief in my Title VII case. Does it take 7 years to open the record and see that my case is legally uncontested? After 31 years in the Army, would you actually deny me my benefits by writing a law of systemic racism and backdating it? It's absolutely ridiculous.
I appreciate your passion on the subject. If for people who don't have any idea, what is a Title VII in the first place? So we want to make sure that everyone has an understanding of what a Title VII actually is.
And that's very important, Rachel, because a lot of people who don't know law and you're assuming that the justice system will do law for you, they did. You have to be knowledgeable enough to tell them that's not law. And that's kind of hard to do because I fell in a situation where I landed in the federal courts. One thing we have to do, the main thing is education. education, education, education. When I landed in the federal courts with my civil rights case, I had never seen Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, but my plan was not on staying. I'm ready for trial. Trial takes 1 day. I have 5 sheets of paper, prove my case. I needed 1 judge, 1 honorable judge, and 1 day. They needed a discovery process. Really? These are states, U.S. assistant state's attorneys know the law. You do this every day. I have 1 document in appellate court to bring, and you have 1 document. Where's the state's attorney's document? Do you pay her with our tax dollars? It's only 1 document in this court. How can you miss it and win in a motion for summary judgment? And I'm trying to get somebody that can explain that to me.
So with the Title VII, so what does it all entail? I want to make sure, as I said, I want to give them as much information as possible so people have an understanding of what it is, because I'm going to tell you what everyone's going to do. They're going to go look it up. So let's save them a couple of minutes and give them just some understanding about what a Title VII actually is and why it was important for what you were doing.
Okay. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 grants equal opportunity in employment. And in federal government agencies, all people are supposed to have equal opportunity in employment in all areas, every agency. But Title VII, you have to understand the laws in Title VII to win a Title VII case. You know, and a lot of people just get confused about that because you don't know law. So whatever the courts tell you is law, it's law. But in Title VII, if you don't have equal opportunity in employment, that's like, according to what happened to me, federal government jobs are not Black jobs. You're going to make a law in which every Black woman gets defeated. And the law clearly states training must be completed. And you sign a contract. So where's the confusion? It's like, you're not going to let Black people obtain jobs that have the benefits and everything and, you know, equal to everybody else. So if we don't have federal government jobs, it's like paper or plastic. And I mean, it's like with a graduate degree, you know, and you can't do that.
Okay. So I want to make sure that I'm clear. I'm one of these people, Ms. Delores. I always have to understand so I can break it down. So the Title VII is a law that it says that everyone has the ability to have any job, and it's not discriminatory by either race, age, ethnicity, or any of those things. Am I getting the gist of it?
Yes, and we have a national agency policy that backs up Title VII. For example, in national agency policy, it states that training must be completed, and you sign a contract. Yes, you signed a contract, but no, they done wrote a law where, in fact, in the court's ruling, it said all 4 African-American women and only African-American women failed to complete the training. The law said all must complete. So you got systems in place, but you got ways of working around systems if people do not have an understanding of law.
So when you just made the decision to go to the U.S. federal court, Supreme Court, and to talk about your case, what were the first roadblocks that came into place and kept you from being able to have your case even heard?
Going into Supreme Court, the first thing, I'm sorry, lost my train of thought for a minute there. Say it again, Rachel. Help me out here.
No worries, no worries. When you first decided to go to court and go to the U.S. Supreme Court, with the Title VII, what was the first thing, the roadblock that you got that stopped you from getting your case heard?
Okay. The first In my book, I also have the rejection letters from the Supreme Court. The first reason for rejection, I didn't get the right paper size. See, for civil rights and Title VII cases, they have different paper size in a discrimination case, okay? My case, I turned in an 8.5 by 11. That was not the right size for me. See, my case had to come in on a measurement of 6 1/8 by 9 1/4. So that was a rejection for the first time. And I made it, turned around and did 6 1/8 by 9 1/4, 40 booklets. Okay, we're doing books now. Okay, so send them the 40 books. And guess what? When I made it minimized to give you the 6 1/8 by 9 1/4, then the font was too small. And look, I cannot shrink the book, shrink this writ of certiorari, and keep the paper, keep the letters the same size. Because you know what you cannot do? You can't change the brief, because you can't roll nothing over to the next page. Because the way it's broken down, you have a table of contents, table of authorities, everything got to be in place. And if you let me move anything, the brief will be declined by the judges. Because when I tell you that the questions presented is on page 1, it can't be on page 6, you know. But if you make me change the font size, it's going to roll the letters to the next page and I'm going to get kicked out anyway. So, and the third letter of rejection, they just said you timed out, you failed to provide, you know, this size, this time, the font, you know, and you got 3 strikes, and that's it. In a case where disabled veteran benefits were voided and it's over because I can't pick the right paper size. And that is our system today. And it's sad to say, but we got to be more vigilant. And we, the people, got to be informed of what they're doing in the federal courts and the state courts. Because with lawmaking authority at the state level, that is very dangerous. So what happened, the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals made a law that will defeat every case of civil rights. And then backdated it 2 years and say, here you go. And then I have to fight every level of court. Okay, you got to get the paper size. You get to get the font size. And you're doing everything but finding law. You're finding flaws to stop and defeat my case. I want to know, if it's a Title VII case anyway, why do we have different paper sizes at the Supreme Court? That's a good question. Who uses 8.5 by 11? You can't have some do, some don't.
I want to make sure I'm clear. So your case was thrown out for font sizes and paper sizes, not on the merit of the case.
No, because when you submit it, they read the case. So they already see the repeal of civil rights in the case. You will not get in. You know, I knew I wasn't going to get in before I started writing a petition for a writ of certiorari. For the simple fact, if I get in, my case is legally uncontested. So I knew I have to learn Supreme Court rules, and I have to prepare a petition for a writ of certiorari to not get in. But you have to get to the top of the justice system to fix the justice system. So even though you know you're not going to get in, you go till there are no more appeals. Is this your highest court? Okay, now you can work with it because you've seen the full system, crawling through the system, all 3 levels, go all the way to the top till you can't go anymore. And that's how you get to justice. Okay.
So, wow. For me, the first thing that really caught my attention was that we're talking about font sizes of paper, and in a civil rights case where you're being rejected for, or they're trying to get rid of a law that was put in place by a previous president to help the veterans or help people in general. We'll just say people in general, but this affects a lot of veterans, and help is part of the reason why we have so many homeless vets.
Exactly. Because we work and we do our service, and then when it's time to collect your benefits, you got to fight the federal courts on the court level. I'm not an attorney. I've never been to law school, but you know what? with all the trickery in law, I knew they was going to have enough time for me to learn it. So I'm learning actually as I'm going along. So after each court, I'll be like, after district court, I'll be like, okay, now you got an appellate court. What's an appellate brief? And start there. And it's time consuming, but if you believe in justice and standing up for justice, you got to do it. Yes, so you can.
I love that you say that if you are ready for justice, because that's the part that you have to sometimes go through a hurdle or go through all of the process to figure out what it is that needs to be done. And that I like that part of what you said, because that just leads into that sometimes we will stop before we get to where we're trying to be because there's a roadblock in the way. And sometimes learning about that roadblock will allow us to help future people, if not us, or help the next person be able to be successful at a situation. And in this case, a discrimination law that is in place. So with all of the things that took place with your case, what did this experience teach you about advocating for yourself?
You have to. Basically, you must advocate, because as long as you say, because most people wouldn't have stayed in this case past their 7-year injustice anniversary. Okay, you would give up. But I'm a certified master resilience trainer. You know, you have to be kind of have
one
a little
more
bit
time
of
for those in the back. Say that one more time for those in the back for me, Ms. Delores. You are certified.
See, I'm a certified master resilience trainer, so I don't care how long you take.
Okay.
We're going to get to justice. I don't care what I had to learn. I'm a soldier. You know what I mean? Make it happen. Failure is not an option. You know, it's really not.
I can appreciate that. So let's jump into your book, because I mean, that is important. So this portion of the show is brought to you by Distinguished Authors Guild, where your literary excellence is celebrated. Go ahead to distinguishedauthors.guild.com or go to the Facebook group, Distinguished Authors Guild, and submit your literary excellence. They are with when you sign up with them, you get not only your book nominated for award, you also get where they distribute your book in libraries. They also, you're on several podcasts. They have several different levels of joining the Distinguished Authors Guild. I am also a Distinguished Authors Guild ambassador, as well as my book is an award-winning book. So go ahead and get into Distinguished Authors Guild starting today. Go ahead to the page right now on Facebook. If you're looking at this on Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube, I'll drop the link below for you guys. So this part, we're going to talk about Delores' book. I'm ready. Equal Justice Under Law for African Americans. What do you want readers to feel after reading your book?
One thing we have to do, when you have knowledge, you got to share it. Okay, one thing you'll know, I did the book because when I knew they weren't going to let me in the Supreme Court because I would win. So the book was my way of telling we the people, if they don't let me in, how am I going to get in the Supreme Court? Because this law, if it defeats every civil rights case, that's a repeal of Title VII. So how am I going to show this to we the people? I know I'm not going to get in, so I figured, okay, I'm going to write a book and put it on Amazon. Maybe the justices read night stories, you know, and I know it's crazy, but if this book repeals civil rights, until I get into the Supreme Court, civil rights stays repealed. Civil rights was repealed when you enacted a law that defeats every case of Title VII. That was February 17th, 2021. Okay, so what I did, I was like, I started writing poetry, so I wrote a little poetry, and then I put my actual petition 6 1/8 by 9 1/4. Actually, that's the size of my book. So I actually put my appeal to the Supreme Court that I wrote for the Supreme Court inside the book. And I added the Supreme Court's three letters of rejection of why I didn't get in. And other things in there like request to admit. They admitted they lowered my grade by 10% and I'm terminated for poor performance. So things like that I included in the book so you can kind of get more of a picture of what's going on in, in America. You don't know. Most people don't know. If they invent a law that will defeat every Title VII case, is that not a repeal? Of course it is. But can you prove it? Can you beat it? Everybody after 7 years, most people would have said, I don't know, forget that. I'm tired. I'm not going to do this anymore. They're not going to let me win. But I don't care how long they take. I have no job. You block me from employment for the rest of my life. All federal and state jobs I'm blocked from, still today. So I have nothing to do but sit at home and study law. So that's what I did. And the book it takes you through the story of, here's the book. Why would Supreme Court reject this? Because every word that went to the Supreme Court is in that book. So you would actually see what evidence the court had when they made those decisions. And I'm hoping that eventually, maybe we the people can say, hey, what about U.S. Appellate Court case 21-2185? What is going on? What's she saying ringing any truth? And it does. It needs to be looked into. But I've done everything to look into it, and I've wrote a book. I've been to the Supreme Court. I did hot sauce poetry. Shout out Brownsville, hot sauce poetry. And, just do as much as you can, but never give up. Never give up. If you know you are right, do not give up. It's hard. Do you think I'm not tired of this, sick of this? I've been tired of this, but failure's not an option. And you keep at it until you win it. God's going to make a way to open that door where somebody going to say, let's look at this case. And then for me, from my self-taught law school, summa cum laude, this case will be over.
So I like she said for my self-talk. Come on with it, Delores. Miss Delores. So I met with Miss Delores at that hot sauce poetry. For guys who do not know, I do poetry. Did I do a good job today? No, I only had I had my little haiku for the poetry read. But next time I go in there, I'm gonna definitely have to go in there and come with some flow. But Miss Delores got up there and she had a poem of the century. It was a poem for me that really spoke very, very much to the things that are going on in our country currently that are putting laws in jeopardy that were put in place to allow us as a people to have rights. So a lot of the things that she said in that poem resonated with me. Now, I was there promoting my second book. The book here has that Poverty to Six Figures. And that was why I was there in the first place. However, that day I got more than I bargained for. I got some knowledge. So, Ms. Delores, if you do not mind, take the opportunity for that poem that means so much to you, the book, the movement for this Title VII, if you don't mind gracing us with that poem.
Absolutely. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is law. A Title VII case of employment discrimination against the Social Security Administration. Equal rights under law? Not if you've seen the things that I saw. In the federal courts, I've done my best. I put Title VII laws to the test. The laws were ignored and unrevealed. In other words, the courts repealed. Surely the federal government has a lot of nerve. How soon they forget that I have served. A person of character, a person of pride, born and raised on Chicago's South Side. Now this time we all shall see that justice is for you, but also for me. So let me tell you right away, Title VII laws are here to stay. Whatever unjust system you choose to use, this fight's not over until you lose. Our justice system is really whack. Perjury transposed to evidence of fact. Our justice system will make you shout. I found perjury and tort, but not reasonable doubt. Injustice prevailed without a flaw. Anyone seeing equal justice under law? Policy states training must be completed, yet every Black woman got defeated. I must continue in keeping it real. I must address the U.S. Court of Appeals. A response brief is required by the court, yet SSA produced nothing of the sort. Contempt of court or obstruction of justice? The court awarded them summary judgment. It's only fair that I should mention the courts had granted them 2 extensions. If 3 appellate court judges can't see perjury when written in a federal court's ruling, then more than I need legal schooling. appeal to U.S. Supreme Court, I now must do systemic racism to me called equal rights by you. U.S. Supreme Court I must use due to the federal laws that you abuse. Yes, this is truly about my race. No response brief required to defeat a Title VII case. Systemic racism it is for what it's worth. My appellate brief due on President Obama's date of birth. Equal justice can't happen, you see. I'm a Black woman with a graduate degree. Poor performance, inability to learn, that's what they said about me. Now you know the reason why. When they go low, we go high. There's two ways in which to see. Coincidence to you, systemic racism to me. Our justice system is just not right. This systemic journey turns to a 4-year fight. I don't identify as being brilliant, but I am Army certified master resilient. I stamped this Supreme Court with the stamina of a rocket. The next systemic game, I bet you can't dock it. If systemic racism won't let me in, how the heck can I possibly win? Let it be stated, let it be told. Federal judges have dishonored the robes. Bad behavior is what I see. Looks like a case under Article 3. A judge with honor, a sense of duty, not until I find Judge Judy. No more proper protocol holding me back. I'm retired U.S. Army, and that is a fact. Over 20 years of active duty and working while Black, I've long been under systemic attack. To really set off this systemic drama, my presidential letter from President Obama. This journey they will not win. Their actions are not only an injustice, their dishonor is a political sin. Truly an honor to meet the justices of the Most High Court, but as a pro se litigant, I choose nothing of the sort. Black woman with no attorney is already revealed. Systemic laws are not yet repealed. Walk in the Supreme Court with no attorney, if you will. The court's record is all that needs to be revealed. For justice and equality, I should not have to fight. America so far from justice, they don't see equal rights. They stole from me the things I've earned, pushing the lie inability to learn. If you're looking for justice under Title VII, you have a better chance of trying to walk to heaven. Yes, I do deserve to win, but not at the cost of going in. Now it's time to end this journey. I'm a retired Army soldier, not a doggone attorney. Surely the federal government has a lot of nerve. After 31 years, 8 months, and 24 days I served. If you want to see a disgraceful nation, possess a President Obama letter of appreciation. Questions from the 9 honorable justices I really can do. I can answer their questions no more than you. Now let me shed a little light. Your system of justice is not equal rights. America can never find evidence of discrimination in this systemically divided U.S. nation. If systemic racism is what you do, reparations will open federal jobs too. Docket U.S. Appellate Court case 21-2185 and let the Supreme Court decide. As an African-American female, I want the U.S. Supreme Court to take a look. I had to publish my writ of certiorari in an Amazon book. It is titled Equal Justice Under Law for African Americans, a Title VII Case of Discrimination by Delores Porter. In my book, I just couldn't resist. Read for yourself the government's request to admit. If we are truly of one nation, why won't the federal courts acknowledge discrimination? Let me be me. Let you be you. Don't fight with Army soldiers because this is what we do. I believe in equal justice and I really don't care about you. If you want to start a serious fight, roll up and snatch this sister's equal rights. Don't stamp my writ of cert 3 times and not let me in. I told you U.S. Army and I came here to win. America is a democracy. I know. I served. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is law. This is my peaceful march to justice. I am Delores Porter. All glory to God and God bless America.
One more time, we got to clap it up for that. We got to clap it up for that. I say this, Delores. This is the 3rd time I've heard it. I want to be honest. I've heard it twice now. This is the 3rd time that each time I hear it, it just reminds me of how much fight that we have still to go. How much we need to be more aware of our legal rights and how we need to make sure that as a group of people that we have the ability to get together and do the right things for the next generation does not walk in the same situations that Ms. Delores came here and spoke about today. We can make that happen. All we need to do is get together and start petitions, open up those cases that really have some valor and get some justice. All we have to do is just work together to make it happen. as a collective, because as single people, as a single individual, she was trying to make it happen. But as a collective, you get more voices, more eyes on the prize.
We
So,
need
Ms.
more
Delores,
teaching of how to do
absolutely,
it.
absolutely, more lessons, definitely. So, tell everybody where they can get your book.
My book is listed on Amazon.
So I'm going to drop that
It's hard
book.
to find sometimes because it's a civil rights book. So of course that's an issue too.
So because it's a civil rights book, they say that we can't find it quickly. So that I want to
say exactly.
So
exactly.
I'm gonna drop the information in the chat in a few moments for those who are willing to take an opportunity to read about the case, read about the information that she provides, because at the end of the day, if we want to grow as a nation or as a people, we have to get the education and use action. Information plus action equals change. Information plus action equals change. I want to make sure we say that together, because that's the part that we have the hardest time with, is putting the action once we have something going. So we figure out something. So I appreciate you for taking the opportunity and coming on the show and talking about your book and delivering that poem in, I want to say this, guys, y'all know how I feel about Black History Month, but within February, which has been declared National Black History Month, I'm Black every day, every day. So Black History Month for me is every day. That's how I feel. So that's just me. I'm not speaking for anyone else. I'm not, but I just feel that there shouldn't be a month. I am Black every day of the year, and I want to speak highly of our people, highly of situations, and highly for our growth. So thank you to us for joining me and doing an awesome job. I appreciate you. So do you have anything that you want to leave with the people before we go to commercial?
Never stop fighting. Yes, we can.
All right, guys, you stick around. We are coming up next. We got the empowerment session where we're talking about how to build a winning team when you're always the one doing it alone. And like Ms. Delores just spoke about in the Supreme Court, it takes more than one judge. It takes multiple judges. So we got to start getting locked in on how to get a winning team. So stay locked in right here on My Radio Chicago, Support District Radio. Well, we already know it's more than radio.
And thank you, Rachel, for having me. It's been a pleasure.
The perfect book series for you by award-winning author Rachel L. Gary. Volume 1, Forged in Fire, Readers Rose from Life's Ashes. In Volume 2, #Poverty Six Figures, They Broke Those Mental Chains. Now comes Volume 3, Freedom Has GPS, reminding you that you are born to soar and build a legacy. Pre-orders are open for 50% off. Get the tools for the bag at www.sayiampossible.com.
My questionnaire, the questions were just very exact and to the point of what I needed. And when I met with her in my one-on-one session, I found it to be very profound.
Excited for this. This is something I really read and something I've been looking for a while.
It's an assessment. Like, it asks questions that make you think deep about what you want your life to go. It's an assessment.
The 10-week financial focus plan she gave me helped me to see it in a better way where it would make money.
It was basically a reality. Something that looked like a dream, but in reality it was nothing but a shift of mindset. It's a state of mind.
Out and moving to the greatness we all know lies within who? You CEOs. See you next week right here on CEO State of Mind.
Wait a minute. Are you a leader, supervisor, manager who is looking to turn your gifts into profit? I have a 10-week course that'll show you how to make $2,500 or more in 10 weeks. You want to learn more? Click the link below and see others just like you who made it happen. Wait, are you ready? All right. Welcome back to Wake Up CEO. I am your host, Rachel L. Gary. Guys, that was an awesome conversation with Delores Porter. Her book, Equal Justice Under the Law for African Americans, a Title VII case. Guys, it was just awesome to hear information about the Title VII case, about finding out more, about being more aligned with the law, finding out more information about how the laws work, and her being a lifelong student now of the law to make sure that she is aware of what is happening and how to get her case seen in front of more people and get more people aware of how to fight for your civil rights. And considering that yesterday, Jesse Jackson has now transitioned. That is a very sad moment for the nation. I had the pleasure of meeting Jesse Jackson several times over with my grandfather. I say this at the end of the day. I love to learn and be enlightened by situations within the community and have a broader insight on information on growth and development. So I am all about that on an everyday basis, which is why I do what I do on Wake Up CEO about empowering the inner CEO. I just take a different approach than other individuals do. But at the end of the day, it's all about having success within our communities. One moment, one step, one growth spurt at a time. So let's dive back into how to build a winning team when you've always had to do it alone. Guys, you've been by yourself way too long. And we got to get out of working alone. We got to start working with some people. We got to get back aligned and work with individuals who are actually looking for success and are back at it. They're ready to win. They're like, okay, I'm all involved. I've got my business. I've got my goal laid out, but I'm burned out. So now we're going to talk about partnering with the correct team members. So we're not going to just partner. We're going to partner with some team members that are going to help us grow. We're going to partner with individuals who are looking for success, who are ready for us to get successful, who are aligned with what success looks like, who are talking about successful things, who are challenging us and challenging the status quo. Because sometimes we're getting challenged, and those challenges we're like, man, I don't want somebody to constantly challenge my authority. And sometimes you're being challenged so you can be able to speak authoritative about what you are passionate about. CEOs, let's take a second on that. Take a second on that part right there. Because at the end of the day, a challenge just means that you're now have to present more evidence. Like Miss Delores was saying, we got to present the evidence of our case. So if you are looking to win, you got to get some people in your corner to help you win. So as we're talking about, the goal is to choose the right people and create a team culture that performs. So once you choose those great people, those people out there that are willing to help, those people who they have the ability to help, the ones who have the credentials to actually help, then we got to keep an environment that makes people want to work. What makes people want to work together, makes people want to see a movement move. And recruiting for strengths, not proximity. We don't want to recruit people just because they're close to us. We want to recruit the right person to do the right job so they feel appreciated. One more time. The right person to do the right job so they feel appreciated. Let me break that down what I mean. When you give someone an opportunity and they don't feel that it's adequate, and if that's not an adequate opportunity, then for them, they're going to feel anxious. They're not going to feel that it's adequate. They're not going to feel that that who they are and what they do aligns. So then they're going to take on more stress, and they're going to feel as if they're not given the right tools for success. Who's felt like that? I want y'all to drop that in the chat for me. So go ahead, drop that in the chat for me. I'm looking at you guys over here on TikTok. Break it down for me. Because at the end of the day, how we show up, because this is about empowering the partners that we receive. So when we're recruiting for strengths and not proximity, just because you love someone doesn't mean they're the right fit for the job in which you're offering or the task in which you're asking. And sometimes I'm going to use, I have been guilty of what I'm about to say. I asked someone to manage a property or help me manage a property who had no idea about property management. Now, I thought it was very simple that, okay, you're going to do this, this, and this. But for them, they felt overwhelmed. So that's what I mean by you recruiting people for their strength, not just because they're close to you. Because sometimes you're hiring somebody because they are free labor. I'm gonna put that out there, guys. You got free labor sometimes. And when you have that free labor, you're like, okay, you could do this and this and this and this. Man, I know that you could do it. You're pumping them up. You're encouraging them. But they like, God dang it, I don't know nothing about how to screw in a light bulb. So you asking them to screw in a light bulb, but they don't have no idea how to screw that light bulb in. How do you think that makes that person feel? That person feels inadequate. They feel that they can't do it. And we don't want anyone to feel that way. So what do we do? Ernest, what do we do? Zay, what do we do? What do we do when we give someone responsibility within our business, within our lives, within our goals that are to help us achieve something, but it's not adequate for them? That's when we have to make sure that we are clear, as we were talking about in the first segment, clear about the job, clear about what we're trying to do, clear about where we're trying to go. Because when we are clear, then we find the right person, the right fit for the right job. And even when we have volunteers, interns, visionaries, support systems, we know where to deploy those people because we're clear on what the mission is. That's what we talked about in segment 1, being clear. Second part is about onboarding with expectations and outcomes. When people work with you, you want to tell them, this is the role, these are the deadlines, and this is how I measure success. Because clarity allows people to work successfully. Ambiguity makes it difficult for you to get a job done. When things are just everywhere, you don't know what's happening. You don't know why it's happening. You don't know what's going on. You're trying to figure it out. And a lot of this happens to a lot of small businesses. That's what we're talking about this today. A lot of small businesses hire individuals who are not qualified for the positions in which they hire them for. However, they are eager to help. Being eager is being in proximity. Being qualified means that they can do the job. If you, unless you're training them and going to spend the time, because I want to say this, training someone for a job and mentoring them through the job are two different things. If I don't have any idea about the role in which I've taken on, and you giving me a little training, but are not mentoring me and not checking in with me and not making sure that I understand what to do, is not giving me a job and moving me forward for success. We're looking for success, guys. And success means we're taking the time to explain, understand, and have a clear understanding of what is necessary for this to be successful. 2, giving authority with boundaries. It's okay to have boundaries, guys. Clear boundaries allow people to be successful. This is the role as we talked about, these are the deadlines. This is measure success. When you give people authorities with boundaries, you can own this lane, but we still have to follow the mission. I'll use, for instance, my book. My mission for Freedom Has GPS is to sell 10,000 copies by the end of the year. Everyone has their role in that mission. And in their lane, they are running their lane. Every week we have a meeting. We talk about this. Thank you, 777, for joining me. Thank you. Let's see. Acapora, thank you for joining me. Claudette, thank you for joining me. Nature, thank you for joining me. Walter, thank you for joining me. So I say this at the end of the day. Each of them have their lane. We have one national lane, one local lane, one global lane, a team of promotions. Now, each of those lanes has their own set of criteria, challenges, hurdles. And each of them are going to talk to their teams about how to grow in their lane or how to fix their lane, how to make sure that they successfully complete their lane. And each of them have a list of what success looks like for me. So me being clear was the first thing before I hired anybody, before I started working with anybody. If I wasn't clear on the mission, this is the mission: 10,000 books, 100 people in the room on December 31st. 100 qualified people who are looking to grow and develop in their lives and bring and build a legacy. People, that is a qualified person to be in the room on December 31st for the gala. It's important. We're going to have a good time. Are we going to party? Oh, yeah. We're going to have a good time. Are we going to talk growth? Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about it. Are we going to talk about building a legacy? Yes. We're going to talk about spirituality, being aligned with you spiritually. Yes, I got someone who's going to talk about that. Talking about how to actually create a really vivid vision board, how to do it correctly, not just putting things on there, putting steps on there. We're going to talk about that. Yes, we're going to be having that conversation. Is it going to be some dancing? Yes. I plan to do a whole routine, because freedom for me is about having fun. But we need a map to get that, to build the legacy. I want, when anybody talks of me, that they learn something new that moves them closer to their goal. I work with small business entrepreneurs to help them grow themselves, their mindset, to be able to grow their business financially. Steps are in place. But I'm clear on that. So when I was able to deploy that information, have that conversations with my team, it was easier to have those conversations because I was clear on what I wanted. Now, how they execute that plan, that's what we're going to talk about right now. That's why we're giving them authority in their boundary. You're giving them authority to make it happen. How we're giving them authority. This is the goal. The goal is to sell 10,000 books by December 31st. To get 100 qualified people in the room on December 31st. Those are the two goals. Now, how we make that happen? Criteria are we have integrity. When our conversations are integritous. We work together. That's important. We share resources. We have great conversations. Those are important. So that's what I mean by boundaries. They're boundaries. You must tell the truth. To anybody that we're working with, you must tell the truth. Do not tell them that we're going to fly across the world in 1 hour on a jet to come give a presentation. We want to tell them what they get. Honestly, what do they get? We want to always be transparent, because transparency breeds honesty and breeds integrity. I am big on being integritous. So if I think that someone on my team is going to tell a story as opposed to tell the truth, we're gonna have a conversation. Hey guys, I do appreciate that we're trying to push a movement. Now, this is all about setting those, giving them boundaries. I want you to where we are providing guidance and leadership and growth in those books. In the gala, we are giving roadmaps to build a legacy. So if that is what we're doing, then that's what we need to be telling people we're doing. You have to stand up, good, bad, or indifference. Thank you, Karen Angel, for joining me. Thank you, Kim Designs, for joining me. Thank you, 777 Health Professionals, for joining me. Freedom has GPS, isn't it? That's what I'm saying. It's respect. We got to get locked in. And how do we get locked in? By being how to build that team that can help you win. So you can win. You can win, they can win. We all should be winning. This is my insight on that. How to be empowered and empower others. The right team member brings peace, not pressure. I hope my team is listening. So my team members for the movement are Miss Mina Media. That is my campaign director and her team. It's Miss Mina Media. Prize Possession is my executive director of brand and visibility, headed by Lakita. Then we have the author, guys, I'm telling you, author relations director. That is headed by BHC Publishing. CEO, Carolyn Stevens. Then the promoter for the movement is Highly Productive Chicago, headed by Sharice Sloan, the CEO of Highly Productive Chicago. So when I make those mentions because they have teams. And when they're bringing people on their teams, they're asking those questions that make sure that team member is aligned with their mission of their business, not Rachel L. Gary's business, but their business. Ms. Media, Prize Possession, BHC Media Publishing, and Highly Productive Chicago. And then from there, they translate their mission, their company's mission, into the mission for my particular business. But this is how you build a winning team. When you're used to doing it alone, you have to be clear so you can be able to hand off the information. Thank you, Joyce, for joining me. Thank you, Frank, for joining me. Thank you. I think that says Winder Harris. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Amy, for joining me. Thank you, Joyce, for joining me. Thank you, G, for joining me. This is all about how to build a winning team when you've always had to do it alone. And when I ask y'all that question, who has your back? Who's got your back? Because if you don't know who's got your back, that means that currently you're doing everything and eventually you burn out. Because a strong team isn't built on talent alone. It's built on trust and tracking. You got to track results. And you got to stand up for when the results are not moving as you would like. So what role do you need first? CEOs that are watching, what role are you looking for help for right now? An assistant, marketing, operations, or sales support? Drop in the chats. What are you looking for today? Because if you don't know what you're looking for, you're going to be at the same spot, doing everything. That's why this show is about how to build a winning team when you're used to doing it alone. How do we do that? So we're gonna take us a couple of moments and jump into a commercial. I want you guys to stick with me. We got the third section of where we're talking about ownership. So we covered clarity, we covered empowerment. Now we're going to lock it to ownership, because teams don't fail from lack of love. They fail from lack of leadership. So I'm talking to the leader, the CEO, and you. So stay locked in right here on Wake Up CEO, where CEOs get clear, empowered ownership action plan. right here on My Radio Chicago. Support District Radio. Well, we already know it's more than radio.
Questions were exact and to the point of what I needed, but immediately I was able to apply some extra income immediately this past week.
Charging $150 for these classes. So I had 30 people show up each day. I charge $150 and they're like 4 days.
I've gotten like three more clients since I revamped again. And I'm really grateful for that.
I actually hit my goal. I think I was at 158. And so this week I'm now at 170 RSVPs for my lunch party.
I have been uploading consistently, sharing it, and also promoting and marketing on. I did build up my own team as well. The business, I also did crack in another client.
Welcome to the CEO Mastermind.
Questions were exact and to the point of what I needed, but immediately I was able to apply some extra income immediately this past week.
Charging $150 for these classes. So I had 30 people show up each day. I charge $150 and they're like 4 days.
I've gotten like three more clients since I revamped again. And I'm really grateful for that.
I actually hit my goal. I think I was at 158. And so this week I'm now at 170 RSVPs for my lunch party.
I have been uploading consistently, sharing it, and also promoting and marketing on.
All right, and welcome back to Wake Up CEO. I am your host, Rachel L. Gary, and we are in the bottom of the ninth. We're in the bottom half of the show where we are now jumping into ownership, holding your team accountable and investing in the team's growth. Here we go, guys. Because this is an important piece. We got our team members. We got clear. We understand our mission. We're empowered because we are now getting the correct team members. Now we're getting to the point where we're going to hold teams accountable and invest in the teams. So you ready? This is how we get to ownership. The goal is install accountability rhythms and commit to development. That means within your business, you want to say, okay, these are the things that we are accountable for. But this is the stuff that that I see that might need a little more support. When you do that, then you leave yourself open for your team, understanding there's a rhythm of things that we need to get done, but also that you're going to invest your time and energy in them, like you're asking them to invest their time and energy in you. It's reciprocal. So this is about accountability systems, meetings, metrics, deadlines, whatever that is. Weekly scoreboard, what's got done, what didn't get done, and what's next. So for my team, we use a thing called Basecamp. Basecamp is where all of our archives live, where everything is, what needs to be done, tasks that are out there. So in Basecamp, we put all that information. And each week, somebody from the team reads off what we got left. Is it always me? No. I am on the team, just like every member of the team, and I want everyone to own their part of it. So to do that, we go into Basecamp. Now, in the next quarter, what we'll be doing is that we'll be looking at stuff of, okay, how many sales, who's doing the outreach, who has followed up, who is making sure that I've done what I'm supposed to do, have I making sure that I've been where I'm supposed to go, have I spoke to the individuals I'm supposed to speak to, have I gone to the bookstores and and accepted the fact that they're going to allow me to sell my book in their stores? Am I having those conversations? Am I doing what I am supposed to be doing? Everybody has a task, and everyone needs to stay on the task for completion of the mission, which is what we talked about in segment 1, the mission. Being clear with that mission. So from the chat, we have Mrs. Gary. Hello, 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 CEOs. Hello there, Mrs. Gary. How are you? That is my lovely wife, for those who do not know. I appreciate you for joining me and locking in to the point where we're talking about team members on the team being accountable. Now, the second piece of that is direct conversations early. When things are happening, hey, I have been guilty of what I'm saying. When things are going on, I'm venting. I'm at home venting. I'm venting to my wife. Man, this person didn't do what they were supposed to do. I'm still waiting for X, Y, and Z. And then I'm gonna tell you, my wife is a very straightforward person. That's what she says. Did you talk to him? Did you talk to them? Yeah. I had a conversation. No. Did you have a conversation or did you talk to them? Those are two different things. So when we had a conversation, she's like, did you talk to the person who's not doing what they're supposed to be doing for you or working with you right? Did you have a conversation? That's back to being accountable, holding yourself accountable as a leader. If you are a leader of a situation or a leader of your goals, or if you are growing with your goals, you need to be able to say, okay, this isn't working for me the way it is. All right, can we find a different avenue so I can get the things I need? That's a real conversation. I really had the conversation. Did I want to have a conversation? No. Conflict resolution. I want to avoid conflict. I like peace. But what I realized is that sometimes we're looking for peace, but we're not willing to give ourselves peace. So I want y'all to check out what I'm saying. You want peace, but you're not willing to give yourself the peace. The easiest way for me to give myself peace in this situation was to actually have a conversation. Because once I had a conversation, I felt more at peace, which is what she was saying in the first place. She was saying that I need to give myself some peace by speaking up for the peace. Now, this goes to the other point. Ownership, you have to invest. Invest in tools, training, clarity, coaching. You want to make sure your team members have what they need to be successful. Because sometimes we hire somebody who's like, well, they should know what to do. Huh? They might be qualified to do the job, but might not have an understanding of how you want it done. I want to take that. I want to clap for that. We're going to clap for that for a moment. We're going to clap for that. Now, the reason why I clap for that is because, one, sometimes we're looking for someone to deliver something to us in a relationship, a friendship, or a workmanship, a partnership, but we haven't told them clearly what our expectations are. And if we're not clear, remember, clarity is a prerequisite for being a CEO. You got to be clear. So when you're clear, you lay those things on the table so the other individual is clear on what it looks like to work with you. And on the same token, sometimes someone will be clear with you. Listen to me carefully. Someone will be clear with you, but they're giving you all their information. And they're like, well, these are my boundaries. These are my rules. This is what I do. And then you're like, these are my rules. These are my boundaries. And this is what I do. And none of that stuff match up. Then you spend the next 4 months, 5 months, 10 months, year, 2 years, 3 years, trying to get that person to do what you want them to do. We do this in relationships, friendships, partnerships, situationships. We're not clear. So to own the situation, you have to own that you need to be clear. Own that you need to invest in tools, clarity, training, and coaching. And when you're doing that, when you own those things, then accountability is low with a backbone. If you don't lead with standards, you stand to fail. A winning team is built on purpose. So when you're trying to make some things happen, you're doing that stuff purposely, intentionally. But the only way to build a winning team is for you to get one. What do we talk about? Getting clear. When you get clear, you can have a winning team. Then we discussed about being empowered. Being empowered means partner with the correct team members. Get people who know what the heck they're doing. We're going to put that in layman's terms. Get the people that know what they're doing, or be prepared to train. Be prepared for your nerves, for people who upset you. Be prepared for growth. And when you're owning, this is where you're holding the team accountable and investing in their growth. Because as you evolve, your team needs to evolve as well. Sometimes that's more coaching. Sometimes that's more conversation. Sometimes that's just you being clear again. Hey, my needs have changed. And it's okay. That's in a friendship, a relationship, a partnership, a situationship. You want to make sure that you're letting people know your needs have changed. So then they can reassess if they can still help you. Y'all can still grow together. You can still go together. Whatever that looks like. But you want to just make sure that you're laying that out and you're putting that out there. Because when you're owning a situation, because when you're owning it, you're owning all of the outcome. And what part you play in making that outcome successful. That's what I'm talking about, CEOs. You got this. So how to build a winning team. So we're gonna break it all down one more time. I want to make sure that we all on the same page and we all growing together. Because that's what we do on Wake Up CEO. We grow together. So first, to get clear, we have to know what we want. What's the mission? Once we figure out what the mission is, we are going to only recruit people that can help the mission. That's whether there's a goal. That's whether there's a perfect relationship. There's no perfection in life. Just make sure we say that for the CEOs out there. No perfection in life. But at the end of the day, you want to talk success. You want to talk meaningful success. And ownership holds the team accountable and invest in their growth. That's when you have issues in your relationship, invest in time. Spend some time getting to know the new person that you're with. Because I guarantee you, I've been married for 17 years. 14 years married, 17 years with my wife. So in 17 years, I guarantee you I'm a different person than I was 17 years ago. If I'm not, off of my head. Now I'm just being funny. But at the end of the day, I have evolved. I've done some things better. Some things I'm not doing the same. Or I'm doing worse. Maybe in her eyes. But that is what it's about, of communication. Of resetting expectations with each other. Because when you reset expectations, then you know, okay, my needs have changed. Your needs have changed. What do we need to change or need to evolve into for our needs to both be met? That's the whole conversation, guys. And no one should feel any type of way. Because if your needs have changed and my needs have changed, then that means we're in a relationship with new people. We got to court again and we got to get to know each other again. I relish that. But that's how we set up. We set up for the comeback, set up for the next thing. So, guys, I want y'all to stay locked in because we have to get into that leadership 3-point play that is powered by Say I'm Possible Academy. Y'all need to stay locked in right here on My Radio Chicago. Support District Radio because we already know it is more than radio.
We are all looking to get to the cash. So I have the perfect book series for you by award-winning author Rachel L. Gary. Volume 1, Forged in Fire, Readers Rose from Life's Ashes. In Volume 2, hashtag Poverty Six Figures, they broke those mental chains. Now comes Volume 3, Freedom Has GPS, reminding you that you are born to soar and build a legacy. Pre-orders are open for 50% off. Get the tools for the bag at www.sayiampossible.com.
My questionnaire, the questions were just very exact and to the point of what I needed. And when I met with her in my one-on-one session, I found it to be very profound.
Excited for this. This is something I really need and something I've been looking for a while.
It's an assessment. Like, it asks questions that make you think deep about what you want your life to go. It's an
The 10-week financial focus plan she gave me helped me to see it in a better way where it would make money.
It was basically a reality. Something that looked like a dream, but in reality, it was nothing but a shift of mindset. It's a state of mind.
Out and moving to the greatness we are.
By award-winning author Rachel L. Gary. Volume 1, Forged in Fire, Readers Rose from Life's Ashes. In Volume 2, hashtag Poverty Six Figures, they broke those mental chains. Now comes Volume 3, Freedom Has GPS, reminding you that you are born to soar and build a legacy. Pre-orders are open for 50% off. Get the tools for the bag at www.sayiampossible.com.
All right, guys, welcome back to My Radio Chicago, Support District Radio. This is Wake Up CEO. I am your host, Rachel L. Gary. We are now at the bottom of the ninth. All bases are loaded, and we are about to knock it out the park with the leadership. 3-point play that is powered by Say I'm Possible Academy. Play 1, define what you need. Write your top 3 needs: time, expertise, and execution. Play 2, assign lanes plus outcomes. 1 person, 1 lane, 1 scoreboard. Play 3, track and train weekly. Accountability meetings, 1 growth investment, tooling, training, or process upgrade. At the end of the day, guys, CEOs are aligned and ready to go. So that is the leadership 3-point play that was powered by Say I'm Possible Academy, where self-leadership gets GPS. Guys, this has been a phenomenal show. So CEOs, the goal isn't to build a team that watches you work. It's about building a team that helps you win. So we all looking for success over here on Wake Up CEO. Success for you, success for me, success for growth within your life. Because at the end of the day, we only have one life to live, one situations to get through, and one place we are trying to grow to. We got to grow. We got to grow into who we are looking to be. So I want to just talk about, this is what we're talking about at the end of the day, guys, that I want you guys to stay locked in every week right here on Wake Up CEO. I have the pleasure to talk to some of the amazing audience out there. And that audience happens to be you. I especially appreciate everyone who checked in with me today. We had Michael Lewis check in with me. Amina Salah Baker check in with me. Gregory Gray checked in with me. We had Sharice Sloan check in with me. At the end of the day, guys, all we need to do to find success is to move forward. And each week I have something new for you guys. So next week, before I let you go, I need you to lock in next Wednesday because we're going to be talking and taking things even deeper. Next week, we're going to be diving into how to create a legacy plan that outlives your motivation. And we're going to be talking with D. Ron Smith, international award-winning author of Innocence of a Child and CEO of I Dream Academy, mentoring and development. We're going to talk about what it is really means to build something that speaks when you're not in the room, how to create a plan that your future can follow, and how to lead on purpose even when you don't feel like it. So CEOs, don't just show up next week. Show up ready to build a legacy that can't be canceled by a temporary emotion. Because next Wednesday, I'm going to tell you, don't miss that show. So this week on Wake Up CEO, I want you guys to stay locked in to being clear, being empowered, and owning your direction. Let's move. That's what we're doing. And remember, if you don't choose a route, life will choose one for you. And as I say every week, CEOs, I want you guys to stay focused on being the best version of you and be up, out, and moving to the greatness we all know lies within who? You. See you next week right here on Wake Up CEO.
We're all looking to get to the cash. So I have the perfect book series for you by award-winning author Rachel L. Gary. Volume 1, Forged in Fire, Readers Rose from Life's Ashes. In Volume 2, Poverty Six Figures, they broke those mental chains. Now comes Volume 3, Freedom Has GPS, reminding you that you are born to soar and build a legacy. Pre-orders are open for 50% off. Get the tools for the bag at www.sayiampossible.com.
My questionnaire, the questions were just very exact and to the point of what I needed. And when I met with her in my one-on-one session, I found it to be very profound.
Excited for this. This is something I really need and something I've been looking for a while.
Assessment is an assessment. Like, it asks questions that make you think deep about what you want your life to go. Assessment is an assessment.
The 10-week financial focus plan she gave me helped me to see it in a better way where it would make money.
It was basically a reality. Something that looked like a dream, but in reality, it was nothing but a shift of mindset. It's a state of mind.
Out and moving to the greatness we all know lies within who? You CEOs. See you next week right here on CEO State of Mind.